Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Katie. You're listening to Not-Stalgia, a podcast brought to you by that creative writing story that you wrote in like 3rd grade that you thought was so good, and then you find it in your parents' attic 20-ish years later, and you're like, this is complete crap.
Sorry that you feel so down on yourself as a
Oh, it wasn't about me,
young
that was
writer.
about you.
Oh my god. My creative writing stories were always incredible. Kate, really this episode's brought to you by Ronald Reagan, as you can see on our TV screen.
No, thank you.
I'm surprised you haven't asked about it yet. I'm actually kind of annoyed. You know when you do something, you think you're funny, and this is more about me than you. I do something, I think I'm real funny, I set something weird up in the house, and just wait for you to react. You haven't reacted yet,
Yeah, because I'm trying not to reinforce your behavior. I don't want to look at Ronald Reagan in my home.
You're trying to extinguish my behavior, so I guess we'll start here, Kate. What do you know about
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, robots in disguise. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
Transformers?
I know that they are robots in disguise. I'm not 100% sure what they're disguised as. And they turn into cars, right?
That's one of the many things they turn into, yes. Here's the thing, they've been around for a long time now. They can't just turn into cars. They're out of cars, I feel like. So they've done many things, and even the original series, as you'll see. Okay, what else do you know about them? So you know that they're robots in disguise, disguised as cars.
Wasn't there this thing that you were ranting and raving about like 2 years ago about the toy industry and commercials and...
Thank you for bringing this all back to Ronald Reagan. I appreciate it. You remember this rant? Wow, you do listen to my unhinged rants. When I get obsessed with something briefly and it's all I talk about, and we're out at a nice dinner with friends, and I'm like, who wants to hear about deregulation of the cartoon industry? Everybody just kind of sits there and patiently listens. It's kind of like that, except whoever's listening to this actually chose to download it.
Wow.
So
Get out now.
You're not being held captive at a dinner. All right, Kate, before we even talk about Transformers, we got to talk about cartoons as commercials.
Cartoons are just commercials.
Well, they weren't always.
Fred Flintstone was selling Winston cigarettes.
That's why some regulations were put in place to say, all right, we got to slow this down. And those regulations were repealed later, and that's why we end up with cartoons as commercials. So let's go back. Television. It was invented, late 1940s, early 1950s. By the end of the 50s, it's really taking off. People are really invested. They love their TV. Everybody's watching. Children's programming has always been an integral part of television, mainly because basically adults worked all day.
Yeah, you got to put your kids in the playpen and then just let them watch their cartoons.
Yeah, because you're not going to put programming for adults on during the day, because the stay-at-home woman is, of course, supposed to be, doing house chores and not watching television. The husband, of course, is out working hard all day at the factory. And so prime time, of course, in the evenings, you'll have TV on for adults. But the rest of the time, TV stations needed to fill the time, so they put on children's programming.
Yeah, kids these days, they want to walk around, they want to look at stuff, they want to touch things. No, we long for the old days when you could just put them in a small jail and sit them in front of a television.
And so you have all this children's programming that the kids are watching. It's mostly creepy variety shows hosted by clowns who look absolutely terrifying now, or cowboys and cowgirls, that kind of thing, right?
No thank you.
And those variety hosts, one of their segments, and we watched Howdy Doody, which is kind of this ilk a long time ago. We did an episode on it. Go back and find that if you want to hear more very, very retro content from us.
And it was sponsored by Colgate Dental
That's right.
Cream.
That was to sell. Hey, look, of all the things you could advertise to children, so these old hosts, the clowns, the cowboys, they would often show old cartoons, ones that had been in theaters 30 years prior, and now they're showing them on TV, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, kids get hooked on cartoons. It becomes kind of a standard idea that cartoons are for kids. We're going to put cartoons on TV, they're for children. And then you end up with stuff like the Flintstones selling cigarettes to children, or selling anything. It doesn't just have to be cigarettes, it could be Colgate Dental Cream. And some concerned parents formed an organization, a grassroots organization called ACT, Action for Children's Television. In 1968, they formed this.
That was not creative at all.
ACT. And they successfully lobbied to have regulations placed on children's TV, starting in 1970. And these included absolutely no violent content if it's aimed at children, and airing during times when children are mostly watching. And that's the reason Scooby-Doo was created, because if you look at the cartoons on TV for Saturday morning cartoons just prior to 1970. There's a lot of superheroes punching and fighting, and it all got replaced around the 1970 TV season with kids solving mysteries with non-violence. That's because of the ACT organization. And they also, and this one I actually kind of agree with, they said there should be no commercials during the shows, like where Fred Flintstone stops and sells you something, because they found, research at the time was finding that kids under a certain age cannot distinguish what is a commercial and what is a show, which is why you can just sit a baby in front of a TV and they'll just stare at it,
Yeah, absolutely. It's kids, they can't figure that out.
So
for a while.
thought that it was, unethical, and it probably is, to sell children stuff at all during TV time. So they were like, we just want it to be programming, no commercials. And they were successful, so that all kind of came to a stop for a while in the 70s. And that's again why you get Scooby-Doo, Schoolhouse Rock, And it was even tricky to sell products related to the shows. You couldn't even really sell easily a Scooby-Doo toy because you might come under the ire of these laws where it's like, well, wait a minute, are you just making this show to advertise this toy to kids? So it was all very tightly regulated. Ronald Reagan wins the 1980 presidential election, and of course his big promise was deregulation. He keeps his promise when he wins, and he deregulates as many federal agencies as possible, including the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which had been around forever, from the 30s, I think, for radio, which was the organization in the government that enforced the rules that ACT had lobbied for, all that stuff. So he puts a new FCC head in who just guts the whole thing and just collects a paycheck, I guess. Because if they're completely deregulating but they don't disband the FCC, what are they doing? What is their job?
They're doing nepotism.
So as of around 1981, when he, is inaugurated and starts deregulating stuff, shortly after, by about 1983, all the programs that were produced prior to the deregulation had aired. So now we're getting the new deregulated cartoons. And basically what happened was every cartoon that aired from 1982 till the early 90s, when Reagan is no longer president and the rules come back into place. The cartoons are designed not just to have commercials again, but the pendulum completely swung the other way, and they said, we're not even going to come up with a creative idea for a cartoon. Basically, toy companies came up with new toys, and then they would hire an animation company or create their own. Hasbro had their own animation studio because of this. And they said, well, we'll just create a program, a show, a whole half-hour show that is literally designed backwards just to sell a toy we came up with. And that's where you get Transformers. That's where you get Pound Puppy. That's where you get Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright. Did I say My Little Pony? My Little Pony.
And G.I. Joe.
Well, G.I. Joe, the toys, we're going to do an episode on G.I. Joe in the future. It's kind of a companion to this Transformers episode. They were a toy going back to the 60s, and then they're like, hey, we already have a toy. Let's make a cartoon based on that toy. Mm-hmm. So they didn't even just make new toys to make cartoons. They would take old toys and they just wanted to sell as much as possible. So they're taking the research they now know that ACT did back in the 60s to say, kids can't tell the difference between commercials and shows, and they're using it for evil purposes,
Yeah, they did a flip it and reverse it.
Very clever, to be honest. That brings us to Transformers. We're going to take a little trip to Japan right now, a little mental trip. In 1974, Kate, a Japanese toy company called Takara released a series of toys called Microman. Can you describe Microman? You like them?
It's kind of like a chrome or metal body. Mm-hmm. And then they have a face, but it's just like David Hasselhoff's face with feathered bangs. But the head is metal.
Yeah, the heads are chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bodies are clear.
I guess,
look.
Yeah, they're clear,
but
they're plastic,
colorful.
they got colors on them.
Got kind of a Power Rangers Super Sentai vibe,
definitely.
Right? So Micromen, the gimmick with these were they were 4 inches tall. They're really small. They're bigger on our screen right now than they are in real life, right? They're supposed to be little cyborg alien men, and their storyline, because I love this, that they would create storylines for the toys. The toys supposedly are guys who actually, they're real, and they live on another planet called Micro-Earth, and they're visiting our Earth. And they're this tall, they're actually little tiny guys. It's not like a toy representing a bigger person. This is how big they would be.
That's dumb as hell.
In the storyline, right? They had interchangeable limbs, so you could take the arms off and switch the colors, all that stuff.
Could you put one beefy arm on?
I bet you could if there was one beefy boy. Actually, as a side note, Micromen made it to America in 1976. Another toy company called Mego licensed these toys and sold them as Micronauts in America. But a few years later, the Microman line expanded. It was so successful they made they made all these play sets and vehicles and robots. And in 1983, they released a series only in Japan called Micromen Microchange. Can you describe this Microchange toy?
So it's like a boom box, and then it becomes a man.
Which is really fun to look at now because that was state-of-the-art technology, and it just looks so retro. It's really cool. I actually kind of want one of these. So yes,
I like that he's punching that car, and it's just disintegrating.
Right in the illustration next to it. Yeah. So he's a big robot. It's a transformer, right? He's a robot that can turn into a boombox, is the idea. So this was one of their new Micromen sets. The American toy company Hasbro, right? They would go to these toy conventions and see these Japanese toys. They bought the rights to sell these Microchange toys in America. They teamed up with Marvel Comics to come up with a new backstory, an Americanized backstory for these toys, and to create the artwork.
What was it?
Well, you ready?
Sure.
They call them Transformers, who are sentient alien robots that transform into vehicles and boomboxes and weapons and things. There are good guys and bad guys. The good guy. Do you know any of this? You saw the movie. We watched the movie together
I
one
remember
time
there being
when we were
a
teenagers.
lot of explosions.
Do you remember like the storyline for the robots though? Like why they were on Earth?
They were
or-
from space.
Mhm.
They were looking for a very special boy, and they found him, and it was Shia LaBeouf, and some kind of wiggly metal.
Yeah, I think that's the movie in a nutshell.
And there was a lot of explosions.
Yes. So in the original version, the storyline is the Autobots are the good guys. They fight the bad guys, the Decepticons. They've like come to Earth from their planet. I forget the name of it, Cybertron maybe. And
That's a dumb name.
they launched the toys in tandem with the comic book series by Marvel, who also did just the storyline for like the boxes you could read. And then of course, an animated TV show. The animated show is jointly produced by Marvel, a company called Sunbow Productions, which is basically just started by Hasbro to make cartoons for their toys, including G.I. Joe and My Little Pony, and Toei Animation in Japan, who is like one of the biggest anime companies. You know, they made Dragon Ball, they made Sailor Moon.
So this is just like the marketing devil, but like
Oh, yeah.
the devil is alive and well, and he's Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There were 4 seasons of this show, 98 episodes. They did a feature-length film between seasons 2 and 3. It began airing on September 17th, 1984. It ended on November 11th, 1987. It was a first-run syndication show, so it could be on any network that was willing to license it. Nowadays, retroactively, it's kind of like World War I, you know? It's now known as Transformers Generation 1 because there have been so many sequels, different
Prequels.
series, you know, like the Beast Wars,
The
where they
Beast
like
Wars, are
transform
they-
into like weird animals instead of
Are they metal
robots.
animals?
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, to be honest. There was a show when I was a kid called Robots in Disguise. There's this thing, Transformers Universe. There have been more comics, tons of media. 6 live-action movies, including the one you just described in perfect detail from 2007. There's more coming out in the future. They're already announced. It's just ridiculous. People love this series. We're going to watch it here, even though I have no love for it. Have you ever seen an episode of a Transformers cartoon?
I don't think so.
I have no opinion, really, on this because
You just wanted to talk about deregulation.
I did. But this is before our time, obviously. It's been recommended many times by all the listeners out there who are, you know, half a generation older than us because we're born in the 90s. So obviously we kind of missed out on the original Transformers craze by almost 10 years here. I've never seen a single episode. The Beast Wars show was on when I was a kid. A little later, the Robots in Disguise show was on. But I was put off by Beast Wars. It has like weird 3D animation. I literally would remember changing it, being like, this isn't for me, and change the channel. So I see, look, a lot of times I say I missed out on like shows that were targeted at girls, and you're like, wow, you really missed out. This time, it was like too macho. They transform into these big scary animals. I don't like cars that much, so like that never appealed to me. Anyway, we're going to see what all the hubbub is about. Before we do that, I want to show you, unfortunately, I did not get my hands on a Gen 1 Transformers toy. They're just too expensive.
Yeah.
So can you describe what you're looking at?
It's just a semi-truck that transforms into a semi-man.
Do you know who that is?
That is Michael.
He's their leader, Optimus Prime.
Oh, great.
Do you know who this is? Can you describe it as well?
It's a Volkswagen Beetle that transforms into like kind of a cute little robot. He's got little horns on his head. I think his name is Leonard.
Bumblebee. And look, he has a cassette tape next to him because they did keep, like, these are just the toys from Japan. They just brought them over, changed
that's
their
his-
names, and like painted them. So
Is that like his wife?
No, I actually don't know the story with that cassette tape because I thought I could be misunderstanding, but I think the cassettes are mostly Decepticons and Bumblebee is an Autobot. Oh, and my favorite.
That's just a gun. That's
I
ridiculous.
knew you'd like that. That's the leader of the Decepticons. Do you know his name?
His name is Shoot 'em Up Willie. What's his name?
That's his name. You got it. No, it's Metatron. I think it's Metatron. No, what's his name?
Metatron is...
Like
That's from
an
Dogma.
angel. Oh, he can turn into 3 guns, by the way.
What?
Like, depending on how you transform
No,
him.
that's just playground rules.
Not Metatron. He's Megatron.
Oh.
He can turn into a Walther P-38 handgun. Like, it's a real and they're metal. The old ones were metal. They're now plastic. It looks like it has no orange tip. It's before
No.
that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that is a gun that would get a child shot.
Yeah.
He can turn into a particle beam cannon, and he can turn into a telescopic laser cannon. I thought you'd really like that one of them is
Just a gun.
He's the head villain, though. So
It's just, let's remember.
it's kind of shocking that
Ronald
in Reagan's
Reagan.
America, the enemy transformed. Like, if you'd think this would be Optimus Prime,
I
right?
know. Ronald Reagan was like, here, kids, have this gun.
Put on your headphones.
Okay, but while we're doing that, if you're looking for any other Ronald Reagan adjacent podcasts, you can listen to You're Wrong About Ronald Reagan and the Welfare Queen with Sarah Marshall and guest Lacey Mosley. It was pretty good.
Before we watch the show, I want to show you a commercial for the original Transformers. So they're trying to sell kids on this, even if they haven't seen the show yet. They have to explain it all very quickly.
Wait, is this a show or a commercial?
This is a commercial.
I can't tell.
Attack the Autobot Commander! Call in the Decepticon leader!
The Transformers, more than me.
The Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
I can hear it, but I don't understand what they're saying.
They're in a battle to destroy the evil Decepticons.
Oh my god, who is that? Why does that kid have rabbit eyes?
His eyes turned green. I guess they're implying that kid himself may be a Transformer in disguise. I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing I don't understand. Are there Transformers that become flesh?
No, not in this iteration. I don't know if there ever were, because the animals really look like robots in the Beast Wars.
I don't like that.
Oh, look, they could be planes. Oh, they're a big gun now.
That is just a gun.
That's
They
just
just
a huge
gave
gun
a kid a gun.
for a kid to play with. And the kids are always like screaming in the commercials. They're really fun to watch. And they're in like this weird set that's like, they're on like weird desert rocks against a painted fake sky, the kids.
Yeah, no, I can't tell the difference between the show and the commercials here.
All right, you got the idea?
Yeah, I got it.
These are the Dinobots.
Oh,
look,
what?
that one turns into like a dog. The thing, it's just like Power Rangers where they would just introduce a new character just to sell a new toy. The Transformer, when I picked a single episode we're going to watch because they're so hard to pick because it's like this episode is the introduction of the Dinobots. This episode, you this new character. The heavy metal Transformers, it's like I can't. So we're only watching. Those ones are bugs.
The Insecticons. They just destroyed this family's farmhouse. This is hilarious.
Oh, man. Okay.
I appreciate you showing it to me, even though you showed me a picture of Ronald Reagan at the beginning.
We're going to watch Season 1, Episode 4, Transport to Oblivion. I want it kind of an unadulterated, just the original Transformers experience.
Who will take care of me? I will, Megatron. Oh, a pleasure to see you again, Prime. Ah, good move, Optimus, but nothing.
What is this? Oh my god.
Here's the intro. Transformers, more than meets the eye.
This is dumb as hell. I can already tell. I guess the purpose of this introduction is just all the exposition you need.
Yeah.
It's like this very operatic, like, they will destroy the Decepticons. And you're like, what, how?
Well, now you know. Now you understand. They're
Kids
on a
don't
war.
need exposition.
They're
They
on a
just
war
need
to
colorful
destroy
animation.
Decepticons.
You put the kid in the playpen. You put him in the jail.
I
You
don't
let
know
him
why
sit here.
you're
watch
complaining about Ronald Reagan, but also saying you want to return to a time when you lock kids in a pack and play all day.
It was not a pack and play. It was a playpen. Your mom explained the difference to me today. What did deregulation get us? It got just robots shooting guns.
Hey, look, normally I'm not the biggest supporter of deregulation, but if it brings us Transformers, I'm kind of into it.
Car space marines? I don't understand. Do you think they're like all friends?
Yeah, the Autobots, definitely. All right, so it seems in the first 3 episodes, the Autobots believe they've destroyed the Decepticons, who are now underwater, sunken.
And not as dead as they thought.
Correct.
And then that one Decepticon just had a short monologue about, like, they thought they defeated us, but in fact we survived. Can they transform into anything?
No, each of them has a specific thing they can transform into. It's very, like, what do you call that, deterministic? Is that Calvinism?
All of these words are made up. I don't
so
like
the
it.
Decepticons back on Cybertron need Energon cubes.
So are they on some, like, creepy desert base? Oh, there are also people in this world.
Oh, yeah, this is Earth. That's why it was Shia LaBeouf in the movie.
So they coexist.
They do now that they've arrived.
What? I thought they were friends.
No, these are Decepticons. Decepticons have a purple emblem on their chest. You'll see in a minute. Look at the Autobots when they show up.
So these robots are in a forever war over energy. Okay. And so these cars and these people have, like, symbiotic relationships.
Well, this little boy does. I don't know
This little
his
boy
name.
is just riding his friend to work.
Look,
okay,
there's the
so
Autobot
now they're
symbol.
fighting, and the problem is that the city is powered by this alternative fuel, Energon, and now we're in this forever war, and maybe the prices for Energon are much higher than they used to be, and there's rolling blackouts across the city. Thanks, Ronald. Get on out of here.
Here's the thing, Kate. If you're going to try to push your political views on everybody, you're never going to convince people Ronald Reagan is bad. because he gave us Transformers and all these awesome 80s cartoons. All you're going to do is make people be like, yeah,
hate him.
Amazing.
Look at these little punks. They just listen. That's all they do. He was like, hey, transform. And
He's
they were
their
like, all right,
leader.
I'll do it.
When Optimus Prime tells you to transform, you transform. You
Question
say,
authority,
how much
kids.
should I transform? I don't know why, but their faces are hilarious to me. Their little metal faces, all of them.
There's like a lot of romantic tension, I feel like, between Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Who are you?
They're always like, ooh, a pleasure to see you again. And then they fight. So these, like, glowing cubes. I guess it's very convenient, because if you're carrying something and you need to transport it, you just fold in on it and you fly away.
Yes.
You know? Who are the good guys?
The ones with the red on their emblems. The purple emblems are bad. It is very hard to tell, though, because it's very chaotic right now.
Okay, so you could transform into a gun in theory, and then your friend could shoot you as gun.
That's what's happening here,
This is a lot.
But we also saw in the opening credits, sometimes they just transform into a gun and float in the air and just fire themselves. You know, I thought I wasn't going to like this. I am thoroughly enjoying every minute of this.
It's the worst thing ever. So they live in this, like, mountainous lair.
Yeah, I think it's the ship they maybe arrived on.
So who are all these blue-collar men that they live with also? Like, I'm just confused.
There are a lot of humans that seem to be on their side, and I am woefully... I didn't want to over-prepare by watching any, because I wanted to watch it with you first, but I think we learned all that in the first 3 episodes. It was a 3-parter. This is the very next one.
So the space bridge is only operable for a maximum of 11 minutes.
Just completely random.
Strange, arbitrary number. I guess they would be really useful to have a Transformer friend, you know? Like, you could store things on them. What the hell is this? That's the hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah, it's their sky... What is it? What do they call it?
Sky bridge?
Space bridge?
I don't know.
It's just such an ugly show. Like, every design is, like, hard to look at.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Did they have to put these bumpers to say, like, the advertisements are over now?
Well, actually, those bumpers exist because of the ACT rules. It's weird that they're still using them. Yeah, that's one of the early regulations they created.
This is just the same footage.
Oh yeah, when they go through the Sky Bridge now for the second time, sure.
This Transformer forgot he was a Transformer. He was like, how can we possibly escape? Oh, I'm a car.
Look at him driving away without his friend Spike, though. Bumblebee almost just left Spike to die.
Bumblebee's just like, yep, I just gotta run faster than my human counterpart. Look, he drove right away.
I don't think that, I could suspend my disbelief a lot. I don't know if I think that Volkswagen Beetle could drive straight up that cliff face.
Listen.
And go more than like 25 miles an hour.
He's a super guy.
The show is so funny because it'll be like 5 minutes of like fairly bland dialogue scenes.
He just blasted him with his finger.
There are a lot of times so far in these fights where somebody will be fighting and then someone else will either just shoot or punch them and the other person will instantly be knocked out.
Dead. What is that thing?
It's a beam that can change memories of Transformers. Kate, I don't know. Wait, the man's name is Sparkplug?
I think they've given him like a gang name.
Oh.
You know? Let's get into this big mechanical bird.
Who's also one of their friends.
Is it a friend?
Yeah.
Why does he suddenly have so Optimus Prime is a semi-truck, right?
Yep.
But when he transforms, sometimes he's just got a lot of cargo in the back. Like,
so the real toy came with a separable trailer, right?
You think he's got like a beefy butt? And that's what it's all about?
Huge. Like with the toy, yeah, he just turns into the front tractor trailer part, and then you could clip on the back. But here they just hide it so that when he transforms, sometimes it's there. It is so funny to watch them all talk to each other in car form. It's just a still image with the dialogue list like playing over it. I know Say Your Prayers, they're just using that because it's a typical figure of speech, but like, who do the Transformers pray to?
They pray to Daddy GM. It's nice that they thank each other a lot in this show.
In the middle of battle when they save each other, hey, thank you, you're welcome. You're showing great restraint that you haven't joked about how Megatron's arm just turned into a saw blade.
I'm just shocked and confused.
A lot of guns in this show.
A lot of guns.
The fact that some of them are guns, even Optimus Prime has a gun all the time. They must have just been so wild if you were like a teenager in the 80s or a preteen where you grew up earlier on like the non-violent cartoons and then this comes on, it would absolutely blow your mind.
So Megatron just did a flip and turned into a gun. It was wild.
Pretty cool.
I hate this. The Autobots are all moaning like they just turned 30, and maybe they spent some time, I don't know, lifting something over the weekend. They're like, ugh. What do they eat? Are they just diesel? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, you think they're powered by electricity or definitely not? Fossil fuels, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's Sparkplug's job to just shovel coal into their mouths.
He's really in some kind of, like, glowing egg guarded by a robot dog. There's a lot of talking about what they're gonna do, you know? It's like, I will assist you.
I will shoot his seatbelt off.
Look at Spike's stylish boots. Oh no, not our precious cubes. This is just a gravitron. Oh, there we go. There's that same shot.
Same footage of the sky bridge or space bridge.
This is dumb as hell.
Autobots, transform!
All the Transformers, when Megatron got presumably killed, they just went, yay!
This music is not good.
I think you're going to have some angry listeners if you keep crapping all over Transformers.
Go ahead.
Beloved.
Send me some hate mail.
Absolutely
see what
beloved.
happens. Go ahead and watch it now. You tell me if
So,
it's good.
tell us how you really feel, Kate.
Was this like a brotherhood of machines? Is that what's appealing? I don't like it.
Give us your breakdown.
All right, so here's what I didn't like. Okay, you want me to start with what I did like? What do you want?
Was there anything?
Here's what I liked. I liked that it was pretty funny every time that they transformed. I liked imagining myself as a transformer. I liked imagining what it would be like to be friends with a transformer because I would never have to hold anything in my hands again. I would just make them hold it and kind of fold it into their crevasses. That's really the extent of what I liked.
What didn't you like?
I feel like the animation was bad. I feel like the music was bad. The storyline didn't make a lot of sense. And it's a transparent effort to sell toys.
Did it make you want to play with the toy?
No.
I'm really upset I couldn't give you a Transformer to try because maybe that would have hooked you in. I mean, the idea of a toy that changes, that sounds kind of appealing.
Not really,
to me.
but I'm glad that you thought it was appealing, you know?
I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought it was. I really thought this was going to be completely uninspired and kind of lame because it really is just a commercial, but it was really fun watching them
I'm glad
fight.
you had a good time.
I loved watching them fight. I liked watching them transform and drive. I don't think I could watch 98 episodes of this, but I think I could get through the movie. Maybe we should one day watch the movie, the cartoon movie of this. But that was fun. If you are a 90s kid and you never explored the Transformers, really, the original series, I think it's worth watching. You know, would I rather watch Rocko's Modern Life? Yeah, definitely. But this was not bad at all. I really enjoyed it. Totally silly, and I think it would get old. Half an hour was too long, but...
Yeah, it was pretty long.
You know, because it's fun to watch them fight, but if every episode is just a repeated series of fight scenes and confusing exposition scenes, that would get old. But for just a few episodes here and there, kind of fun. The next time we go to the 80s, Kate, I think it's going to be G.I. Joe. And we have a few. I want to explore some of these 80s shows. We are all over the place on this podcast lately between the Jetsons and the Flintstones and the Nick at Night, and I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are out there in listener world. I know a lot of early listeners back, especially when we first started the show, the biggest requests were 80s shows. And I've probably lost us those listeners by waiting till now to do them, but...
And saying it was bad.
Yeah, way to go.
I love saying things are bad.
Way to go, having an opinion on something, Kate.
Go ahead, tell me you hate me.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Send us emails, notstalgia@aol.com. Send us voice messages through the link in this description. It'll bring you to Anchor, where we publish the podcast, and they have a whole system to do voice messages there. Find us on social media. You can publicly message us. You can try to privately message us. Whatever you want to do to tell us what to watch. And just go to our website, www.notstalgia.org. All our episodes are there. Or you can just subscribe to us on whatever podcast app you're using if you're not already. But you probably already are.
And if you aren't, you better.
Take them, Autobots! Now you can watch the incredible adventures of the Transformers as heroic Autobots battle evil Decepticons 5 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The Transformers are like nothing you've seen before. Don't miss a single day.
We'll see how tough the Decepticons are weekday afternoons here on TV 22.